Good morning. Let's sit together a little bit. I don't have much to say. I will share that sometimes there is a delicate balancing act between holding steady and letting go. And it feels like you're paralyzed because you don't know what to do, which way to go, especially as we exist now in the middle of what I call the blender, where all of the what's it's is doing this so fast that your head can spin. If you're feeling like that today, just connect to a breath. There are some things that you can't figure out. Take a breath. I'm deeply grateful that I get to paint today, that I get to do the healing work today, that I get to clean up and go out to a nice place to eat today. That I have a twice baked potato that is uber cheesy, that is going to become my breakfast this morning. I am grateful the neighbor's cat, also my supervisor, is giving me some physical space today and isn't all up in my business or my face. I am grateful for the snow that will be coming. I am grateful for the capacity to use modern technology in this way. I am grateful that I can be in one of my favorite things ever, in my fuzzy socks, and be toasty. I'm grateful I have the capacity to turn off the news and focus on creation. I'm grateful to see an opening within the blender what sits. I have never been one to follow the rules of the game in terms of anything spiritual. They have never suited me. But what I have found in this whirlwind of everything that is moving around us, the things that stir anxiety and fear and glee that feels hopeful, tinged with fear, all of those things. What I have found is if I come back to the very moment, the very second, not even of stillness, but just come back to this very moment of it. Okay, we're okay. In this very moment, everything is okay. Back out of the big picture and into, do I have what I need? And breathe into that, give that some space. That helps me. In that, I can hear differently. Doesn't mean I like what I hear, but I can hear differently from a perspective that is broader than my limited one. Find what helps you. If it's meditation, meditate. If it's walking, walk. If it is playing with the dog, play with the dog. If it's going to the grocery store, go to the grocery store. And don't get panicky. Stick your nose in the butt of a pineapple and let that wake you up a little bit. One of the reasons we find each other these days is because we are reaching a point where we realize we can't do things by ourselves. We can't. And we need each other. One of the opportunities in confounding, confusing things in this day and age is that we need others that aren't like us. Because they have a thing. They have a thing that we need. Call it a gift, call it an experience, call it a lesson, call it friendship, call it love. Oh, call it love. But we don't know how to wrap our heads around that. So I'm being led to reach out to a particular person who thinks so far differently than me, who's, how do I say this? Who I ordinarily wouldn't reach out to because, ugh. However, I can see the opening. I can see something. And I keep coming back to an experience I had back in the early 90s when I went back to finish my undergrad at Virginia Tech. Silly me. I thought I would get into political communication and that whatnot. And although I can't remember the professor's name, I can remember that he brought in Marley Matlin and James Carville. And I was so astonished, that I saw, like, I mean, they love each other. Oh my God, it was so obvious even then. And I was like, yeah, but you don't think alike. You have entirely, like, how in the world? And then it seemed so strange. And now it seems so obvious. Like, well, of course. Of course. And I think as we're being guided towards each other, if we can get beyond how we've siloed ourselves, then things change. First, individually, clearly, and then in smaller community, perhaps. And in this, I don't think I'm being Pollyanna-ish. I just don't. I think it takes some emotional maturity and perhaps spiritual maturity to engage. But I remember how much we love each other. I remember when folks showed up in North Carolina and all those places that were smacked upside the head by a hurricane, when people are pulling people out of the water and helping rebuild and running bulldozers and making sure food and art supplies and all of these things that fuel the souls of other people, nobody's asking, who are you going to vote for? They're asking, what do you need? How can I help? That's happening everywhere. There are these huge disasters where there is an obvious point for cohesion of disparate communities. I think that exists without catastrophe, but it has to be nurtured. It needs a focal point. It needs a locus. And we don't have to look far to find that. We have to be willing to find that outside of our comfort zone, as I hear myself talking to myself. And remember that in a very second, God, they are quick seconds, because you step out of it and the shitstorm is still there. But if you keep coming back, if you keep coming, things clear just a little. Take a breath. So let me tell you how I noticed folks loving on each other yesterday. So for those who don't know, I live in Southwest Colorado in a town called Telluride, that although it has a reputation as being this sort of wealthy enclave, we are rural America that happens to have folks come in and out that have more money than the residents, mostly. And that's neither here nor there in the moment, outside of this connecting with people in a loving way that are outside of our immediate community. But we got snow yesterday. after Mother Nature being like, oh, hey, let me remind you that spring exists, and then going, psych, it's not here yet. So the road coming down the hill I live on was slicker than snot, and somebody, bless his little heart, was in a pickup truck that got, it wasn't weighted enough in the back, I don't think, and so it got a little sideways, and then tried to go up the hill, and his little truck was like, do it, not gonna do it. Somebody else in a bigger truck, a burly truck, rolls down his window, says, you need some help. Touches a line, tows that little vehicle right on up, not caring what the person looked like, only knowing that he could help, and he did. I saw the love at the grocery store in amazing conversations between strangers. I saw the love in somebody else just engaging in conversation to conversate because there's another human being who could see them. I felt the love when I saw leeks and fennel, which I'm ridiculously in love with and kind of get on little rabid kicks about it. I saw the love or felt the love when I was like, oh, to roast these with this and that and ask somebody for dinner. Cool. Somebody said a while ago, I don't know who it was. I was doing the scrolling. And which I'm trying desperately not to do because there's more life. And they talked about how we need spiritual whatever. I really don't think we need that. I don't think we need anybody else telling us how to be spiritual. I don't think we need anybody telling us anything in terms of what is right, what is wrong. We know those things. We know those things. I simply think we need to be shown how to love each other. And so as I wander to refill my coffee cup, I'm going to leave you with this. I love you deeply. I don't know you. I don't need to know you. I know what wells up from here with every encounter I have. I love you. And I say it that way very, very purposefully. Very purposefully. I hope your day unfolds with glimpses of ease within the angst. I hope you can see how we love on each other. I love you. Have a good day.